I was just diagnosed with adult ADHD. Now what? Establish some social support. Created by an adult with ADHD for adults with ADHD. Ellen Peoples, registered nurse. ADHD is a complex condition. Please talk with your local healthcare provider about your specific medical needs. The information in this video is for educational purposes only. For your safety, please do not try to diagnose or treat this condition on your own. People with ADHD need one-on-one help from a trained professional like a doctor or a psychiatrist. It can be life-changing to receive a diagnosis of ADHD as an adult. Talking with friends and family about this new diagnosis can be difficult. There's a lot of confusion out there about ADHD, especially about adult ADHD. The purpose of this video is to provide adults newly diagnosed with ADHD information so that they are more comfortable talking about ADHD. Learning to live well with ADHD is a lifelong journey for most people. Friends and family members who understand the basics about ADHD can be an invaluable source of support during the ups and downs of learning to live with ADHD. Here are 4 common myths about ADHD in adulthood that may come up in your everyday conversations. ADHD is just for kids. Most kids grow out of ADHD. If you were not diagnosed with ADHD as a child, then you cannot possibly be diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. Adults with ADHD act just like children with ADHD. Let's take a look at each of these 4 myths. Myth 1. ADHD is just for kids. Fact 1. About 4.4% of adults in the U.S. have ADHD. Myth 2. Most kids grow out of ADHD. Fact 2. Studies have found that most of the children diagnosed with ADHD continue to meet the criteria for ADHD as adults. Myth 3. If you were not diagnosed with ADHD as a child, then you cannot be diagnosed with ADHD as an adult. Fact 3. Many people are diagnosed with ADHD later in life. The DSM-5 is the handbook for health professionals on diagnosing mental health. According to this book, all people with ADHD have several symptoms before age 12. Sometimes a person with ADHD finds ways to make up for or to compensate for their ADHD symptoms. That same person may find themselves in a crisis when circumstances change and their coping strategies are no longer enough. Each person's path is different. But here's one common scenario. A child with undiagnosed ADHD plus supportive parents plus hard work equals doing okay. A young adult with undiagnosed ADHD plus living away from parents plus responsibilities of adulthood plus hard work equals a sudden decrease in success and an increased need for treatment. Myth 4. Adults with ADHD act just like children with ADHD. Fact 4. ADHD symptoms in adults are often less noticeable but can have more serious consequences. For example, a child might say, "I forgot to turn in my homework, to feed the fish, to set the table, to brush my hair, to raise my hand." An adult might say, "I forgot to pay that bill, to turn off the stove, to stop at that stoplight, to take my medicine, to pick up my daughter from school." A child might say, "When I get restless, I squirm in my seat, I climb up furniture, I practice my karate kick. Hi-ya!" An adult might say, "When I get restless, I tap my feet, I fidget with a paperclip, I find an excuse to get up and move around." That's the end of the myths and facts for this video. Hopefully you are feeling a little more prepared to talk about ADHD and how it impacts adults. If you're an adult with ADHD, I challenge you to find at least one person in your life who is willing to learn the basics about ADHD and who is easy to talk to. On those days when the battle with ADHD doesn't go as well as you would like it to, being able to talk openly about your struggles with another person can be a huge source of support. All the best to you in your continued journey to live well with ADHD. References: The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, also known as the DSM-5, is a manual defining and describing each mental health disorder as it is currently understood within Western medicine. It is compiled and updated by the American Psychiatric Association. Up to Date is a collection of articles that summarizes findings from peer-reviewed research. These articles are written by physicians for physicians to assist them in their efforts to keep their day-to-day medical practice up to date with the latest research.